Budgeting to buy a house. So the whole point of these videos is to spend less money so you have more money to buy your house. If you're not trying to buy a house, these videos can still be useful if you're trying to reduce spending. I try to make these videos short, so if the way I do it in this video doesn't make sense, we all learn differently, so try one of my other videos. This video is going to be about taking your averages. So I recommend doing an average of at least 6 months. If your food expenses and other variable expenses vary by a lot per month, then you might want to go up to 10 or 12 months. However long you do it, what we're trying to figure out when we're figuring out averages is instead of 1 month I spend $300 on fast food and the next month I spend $500 on fast food, over the course of the full year, I want to figure out what I usually spend and figure out, okay, if it's $400 a month on average, what happened the months where I spend more? Or what did I do good in these months where I spent less? And then we focus on this. Or we focus on the average is 400. How can I start spending less per visit? You know, if I usually go there and buy my meal and it's $12, how can I figure out a way to instead, if I'm going to go the same number of times, how can I start only spending $10 or less? Doesn't sound like a lot, but it's going to save you a lot of money in the long run. Or if I'm going 20 times a month, how can I figure out only to go 12 times a month? But we won't know this until you figure out your averages. Easiest way to figure out your average is through your bank statements. Whatever account you're using to pay for all of these transactions, try to download a CSV file. You should be able to download those with your bank statements. What a CSV file is a file that will go into an Excel spreadsheet, and then you can pull out all of your transactions. And you can start to do a mathematical equation to figure out how much you're really spending every single month. And we can focus on the months where we're not doing as well, and we can focus on getting your averages down. So if you're not comfortable using Excel and you don't know what a CSV file is, you can figure this out all manually. But if we're doing fast food as the example and you're going 20 times a month and you're calculating 6 months worth of transactions, that's 120 transactions. So it's a decent amount of math that you're going to be doing. You can do it by hand, but I would recommend trying to figure out how to download it into an Excel spreadsheet so Excel can do the math for you. So again, the end goal is to figure out what our average is per month and then figure out how we can decrease that. We want to be looking at our variable costs like food or transportation costs. Even utilities, sometimes there's ways to reduce our electric bills and things like that. But really food and entertainment are the two categories that usually vary the most. And those are usually the categories that are easiest to cut back on. So that's why I used fast food as an example. So if none of this makes sense to you, try one of my other videos. The end goal is to simply spend less money per month so you have more money in the bank, and that's how you're going to get approved.